Welcome to the Sports Desk, live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook, along with producer All in D1. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Our very special guest today, Las Cruces boys head coach William Benjamin, the undefeated Bulldogs, 22-0, 8-0 in district. My very good friend, Will Benjamin, who's just given me a lot of grief about my New Mexico Lobos, but that's what he does. He's one of the former Aggie greats of all time. I'd love to talk to him. Consider him a very close friend. Coach, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Ed. How are you doing?
Coach, again, it's always good to have you on, and you're looking down the Bulldogs schedule, and Coach, you've got two titles. You won one in 2013 and one in 2020 against Capital in an empty gym. Coach, there was that when they closed down the pit and state tournament for fans because of the COVID, and it's been up and down, right? Fans, no fans, fans and no fans. The Bulldogs are having a great season. Talk to us a little bit about where you feel Las Cruces is right now.
We're just trying to get better, Ed. Right now we're in a good position. I think we played a good schedule as anybody else in the state. We're just trying to get better, just like everybody else. Right now we're going through district, non-district wise. We've played some tough teams. We played Hobbs at Hobbs. I don't think Hobbs has lost a game at home all year. We also played a school from El Paso, Chapin, who's #1 team in the city of El Paso, and we played that. We played them our first game of the season, along with going on the road to Los Lunas, and we also Cleveland came to us this year, and we also played the Albuquerque Academy tournament. So I think we played as good a schedule as anybody in the state of New Mexico, and we're just fortunate right now to be undefeated.
Coach, the close call in the first game of the season, beating El Paso Chapin 62-61 at Las Cruces. The rest have been, relatively wide margins of victory for Las Cruces. You put 110 points on Gadsden on January 14th. 87 points, 93 points against Oregon Mountain, 97 points, 88 points, 95 against Oregon Mountain. You've got Gadsden left, Alamogordo, Centennial, and Mayfield. Now, one of the things you said to me just now is you feel like you played as good a schedule as anybody in the state. And sometimes the rankings come out, and sometimes, they are what they are. Sometimes we can't explain why certain things work out. There's a point system and things that they consider in max preps. But you just said it there. And I'm going to kind of leave it there unless you want to comment more on that. Volcano Vista right now ranked #1 in max preps. And they held off Atrisco Heritage last night. But again, you said it yourself. You feel like the Bulldogs has played as good a schedule as anybody else in the state.
I mean, we're just talking location. What's up?
That's got to be Deuce.
Yeah, that's Deuce. Hey, we're just look where we're located, man. We're not fortunate enough to have high schools on every other block like they do up in Albuquerque. You know what I mean? So schedule wise, it's tough. We can't control our schedule. This isn't college basketball. So we get the best schedule that we could possibly get. For us to travel to Hobbs is a long way. For us to travel to Los Lunas is a long way. I totally get that Volcano Vista is in the best district in the state of New Mexico, and they're having a phenomenal year just like we are. But they're fortunate enough to be able to play schools that are right next to them. What's a road trip for Volcano Vista? Rio Rancho? You know what I'm saying? So
right.
We get it. We get it. The only problem I have is when we let common sense take the place, we don't use our common sense, and we let max prep take the place of common sense. You know what I mean? Whether or not we should be one or two in max preps, it really doesn't matter. But
Right.
but when we start talking about getting into strength of schedule and stuff like that, and they haven't played anybody and stuff like, come on, man, we're in the state of New
Mhm.
Mexico. I can tell you this though, Chapin, Chapin is one of the better teams that anybody will see that anybody will see. You know, and I don't, and I really don't know if there's a better team in the state of New Mexico than Chapin, especially playing them your first game of the season. Whether you play them at home on the road really don't matter. Chapin is loaded, and and uh, and so that was a great measuring stick for us first game of the year.
That was right out of the gate, right out of the chute. You know, you beat them by one, and again, you've had, and we're going to talk about, of course, your fantastic son, Deuce Benjamin, who was just looking over your shoulder there. Where's your same number that you wore in college? And we've got some videos we're going to look at in the second part of our show. And again, a fantastic player. You got Caden Self, Isaiah Carr. Coach, it's fair to say, in the last couple of years, you won the championship in 2020, losing last year to Cleveland, and everybody fully expects that the Bulldogs will be there again. Coach, there's been some glitches in the road and district tournaments in the past, right? In the state playoffs. How do you keep your Bulldogs? I said this to Coach Brown. It's a fair question 2 weeks ago when I had him on from Volcano Vista. Everyone's trying to make that matchup. Volcano Vista and Las Cruces are on a collision course, right? They're like everybody like to see it, right? But there's a lot of basketball that still has to be played. And how do you keep your Bucks? It's the same thing to Coach Brown. How do you keep your Bulldogs grounded and say, look, we've still got mission goals to accomplish. We can't look that far ahead.
And just tell them the just tell them the real. Just tell them exactly what it is. You know, we've been in this position before. You know, and one, you know, we've been on a hell of a roll, Ed, for the past 6 years. You know, as far as winning, as far as participating in the state tournament. And so I just give them different examples of what can happen. I believe 2019 we were 28-0 and we ended up losing in the first
Mm-hmm.
round of state tournament at home to Oñate. Like that's real, you know, that's real. So I just put on film. It's all about getting better. Tell them the reality of what it really is, and that each game, regardless of the score, we're not playing the score. We're trying to play the game. And so we watch film and we try to break down. Uh, you know, what it is that we're doing wrong. Just because you beat a team by 40 points, it don't mean you're out there doing everything right. And so you only get one chance at this, and we have I think we have a very special team, for not just Las Cruces High, but for the city of Las Cruces and for the state of New Mexico. And so just basically tell them the real, tell them the reality, and let them know that we have a long way to go. And just because you're beating teams by this margin doesn't mean that you're good. It means you still have to get better. There's a lot of mistakes that are being made, a lot of things that need to be get cleaned up, and just try and do it like that as far as keeping the kids focused.
Look at your last couple of games, a win over Silver, 81-44 over Deming. And Silver's a good team, by the way. I was going to try to go see them last week when I was in Silver City, but they played on Saturday. Deming, 69-53. Hobbs, 70-55 on the road. Gadsden, 110-130, 110-30. Lorgan Mountain, 93-47. 87-51 over Centennial. 80-35 over Alamogordo. 97-70 over Mayfield. 88-42 over Deming. 95-52 over Mountain. And coach, we're human, right? I play too, and I think sometimes when kids get in that mode and we're relaxing, we're cruising, and you've got the same message though, because you have to tell them, hey, a couple years ago we were 28-0 and lost to Oregon Mountain. So that's where you have to keep them grounded. Plus, you played for the late Neil McCarthy, and I'm going to ask you a question about that in a minute. But it's easy for kids to say, look at my press clippings, look at this, look at the where you got Deuce weaving in and out of traffic, two hands slam, right? And those are great moments for kids, right? And so they all get together and celebrating. But it's up to you and your staff to say, look, there's still things. Even though we've had these margins of victories, we didn't get a rebound, we didn't draw a charge, we were sloppy on our press offense or on that pass. There's still things to work on.
Yeah, definitely. We're holding teams to 46 points a game. And so that's pretty. We've been doing a pretty good job defensively, but we have to do better. Also, the scoring, we've been scoring close to 80 points a game. So I mean we it's been looking a certain way, but we know the reality of what it is. And look, I tell the kids all the time, embrace it, enjoy it, like enjoy this. Like you're not gonna, we got a very good team, so enjoy it, but also don't get caught up in the bull crap that comes along with it. Don't get caught up in what they say because most of the time they don't know what the hell they talking about. Don't get caught up in your press clippings. Look at it, enjoy it, and then the next day you move on from it. See if you can create some other ones. Don't get caught up in trying to create spectacular plays. Let the plays naturally come. Now, if you're blessed enough to go down the middle of
Mhm.
the key and dunk it, then yeah, you
Yeah,
go ahead and dunk that damn thing.
yeah.
And if you're blessed enough to be 7 foot and run the court and catch lobs and dunk it as hard as you want, then you go ahead and do that because everybody can't do that. But also understand there's other aspects of the games that's gonna benefit you as far as winning and other ways to affect the game other than just going through the lane and dunking. And so, like I said, for us to go on the road at Hobbs and win by 15, 16 points was huge. Was huge. And also for us to go on the road and play in the Albuquerque Academy tournament. That was huge as well. So we've been on the road, we've been battle tested. And so now it's just about getting better and see if we can just keep this thing rolling.
You as a player, and I talked to a couple of your road dogs, man, back from the day. John Ingram, Kevin Malone. I
Right.
coached Kevin at Highland for a little bit, and it's funny
Mm-hmm.
that his son Jaden plays for. It's funny how things work. His son plays for Volcano Vista. Your son plays for Las Cruces.
Right.
Kevin had nothing but great things to say about you, as did John Ingram, who used to do some coaching in Albuquerque himself. Great individual, great coach.
Mm-hmm.
John Ingram said this to me. He said, "Ask Benj when he played for McCarthy that they're always bringing in players to replace Randy Brown and Reggie Jordan would tell you that. Hey, look, Coach McCarthy's bringing in the next guys to take your job. So how did that mold you as a player, and more importantly, as a coach? Coach McCarthy, you mentioned to me, Coach. You and I, talk and we converse, at least once a month, twice, when we can. But you mentioned to me, God bless Neil McCarthy, the late Neil McCarthy. But you mentioned to me he was kind of hard on you too. So talk a little bit about just how that relationship molded you as a player and as a coach.
Uh, I don't, you know what? Back then, when you're a kid, you're like, yeah, he was hard on me. But then when you become a grown man and you understand what it was, uh, hell, he trying to win like everybody else, and he's keeping it 100 and telling you the truth. So if Neil's bringing in players to help him win, and if that means if he's going to bring in a player at my position who's better than me, then obviously I'm not doing the work to make him feel confident enough to where he wouldn't have to do that. And so I remember my junior year, uh, and Randy and Reggie were seniors that year, and Neil brought in three two guards because I think my sophomore year I probably shot like high 29% from threes. So he brought in, and Neil was a JUCO cat, so he brought in three JUCO guards. And I remember going to his office. I was like, "What the hell's going on, Neil?" I was like, "Damn, it's supposed to be my turn to start." And he was like, "Well, Benji, I don't know how hard you're gonna work on your game." And so, shoot, that's a challenge. And
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
so I had to work on my game, and I use the same thing. I use the same philosophy as a coach. I might have kids that might be talented, but I might have another kid who might work harder than that kid, and hard work's going to always outbeat talent to me. I mean, because talent's going to come and it's going to go, but when you really need it to get done, a lot of times talent don't show up, but that hard work do. So for me as a coach, I'm taking all the stuff that I learned from my experience as a basketball player. And I always tell my kids I wasn't no all conference player or all anything. I just had to work and grind it out just in order to be competitive to get out there on that court. And I can honestly say I was a contributing member of some good teams at New Mexico State, and now I'm taking that same philosophy with me as a head coach here at the high school level. And we've been able to put on a hell of a run for the past 6 years, and hopefully we can finish this thing up um, the right way, with a state championship. But even if we don't, it's still going to be a hell of a year.
Yeah, it's a great outlook on things because you've been there. You know what it takes, and I'll tell you what. Again, rest in peace, Neil McCarthy, and he rankled a lot of Lobo fans up here, man. Me being one of them, and you know what? He didn't care. Too bad. We beat you. Get off. Get lost. That's the way he was, man. He'd
The
get into it.
rivalry. It's a
Yes,
rivalry.
when it
Rivalries aren't
mattered,
supposed
when
to
it
be
meant
fun.
something.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
absolutely.
It's supposed to, you're supposed to stomp on that Lobo after
He
you
did.
guys.
You-
We're
don't
supposed to.
remind me. Don't remind me.
Hey, those were beautiful times, but I
Oh man.
but
Yeah, they
but
were.
it still all comes together because when we went to the Sweet 16, and I always say Sweet 16 because I don't know when the last time the Lobos been when the last time the Lobos been to a sweet anything. I'm just trying to figure that out.
Oh man.
Ed, you're the Lobo guy. You're the Lobo guy. But when we went to the Sweet 16, everybody in the state of New Mexico supported us, and
Oh,
that
they
just
did.
shows
I
and
remember
that
that.
just
I
shows
did.
the love. That just shows the love in this state for basketball and shoot for the Aggies too. When we
Yeah, no
make it.
question. No question. We got to give the Aggies love. Coach, we're going to take a break. And when we do, we'll talk more about this year's version of the Las Cruces Bulldogs when we after these messages on the sports desk.
Good handles or good defense by Nick Dial. He'll take it to the hole. Nice shot by Nick Dial off the glass. Beautiful.
Ooh, that was dangerous. She got up in the air with nowhere to go. Spinaroonie throws it up off the glass, and that falls in. Are you kidding? Nadia Randall. That was a heck of an athletic move there.
I made that pass. He struggled immensely with that one. And how about the block? Judah Casaus says, get that out of my house.
Here, all of a sudden, this thing gets a little scary.
Nice little dish inside as Sean Alter puts two up.
Go up strong, off the glass. McCleskey lines it up, three, and McCleskey hits another one from downtown. For that one is Giddings. Mays. Mariah Mays is on fire.
People we played with or ref.
Arm to steal up the right side of the floor for the Eagles. Puts it up, lays it, puts it down with a hammer.
The 2022 APS Spirit Invitational Dance Champions are the Jaguars from
Wow, the tumbling. Dang, I would say at least 80% of their team has tumbling skills.
The 2022 varsity tier champion goes to the house. Come on, get ready!
Ball is inbounded to Reagan Morris. Morris, ball was poked away. She gets it to Mays. Mays, under 5 seconds. Mays, step back shot. It goes! Alyssa Mays ties the game for the Lady Sartans, and we're headed to overtime. Big shot by Alyssa Mays. She's got 14 in the game. She gives the Sartans an extra period.
Well, I'm going to the frontier, walking to the cashier, order up a root beer and a number one. Cover it with green stuff, one scoop is not enough. Find a booth is real tough, back by the Duke. Meet my family, meet my friends in the quirkiest restaurant I have ever been. All of Albuquerque's favorite spot, it's the Frontier Restaurant.
The Frontier Restaurant is a proud supporter of ProView Networks.
Welcome back to the Sports Desk Live on Comcast Channel 26, also streamed on Facebook. I'm your host, Ed Nunez. Our special guest today, Will Benjamin, the head coach of Las Cruces boys basketball program, the 22-0 Bulldogs, 8-0 in district. And Coach, before we go on, I got a quote from someone that you know very well, Coach Benjamin. You know, when you talk about Coach Benjamin, you know you're talking about the real godfather. Coach Benjamin is a class act always, amazing coach, teacher, mentor, very well respected in our community. His players work hard, and it's evident with success he has had. Above all this, I am blessed to call him my friend, and that's from your counterpart down the way, Las Cruces Mayfield girls coach George Maya.
Man, Maya's just, hey, man, Maya's just a cool ass cat. Maya's just cool, man. He's just a good dude. I appreciate him saying those things, but man, I'm not all that. He's all that. I'm not all that. I'm just trying to hang with him, and maybe some of the things and the success that he's had will rub off on us over here. But Maya's a big time quality guy.
I think it's important too, though, that you're of course a basketball coach, and but you're a teacher and you're an educator, you're a father, you're a husband. Coach Maya, who I talked to, I read his state championship in 2004, and man, George will work the heck out of you, right? George, man, he's got the annex and he's gonna pull his hair, and but George is a person. God, I love that guy. We got to talk, and we were talking about family, his mom and dad, my mom and dad, just a good guy, and he's got all the respect in the world for you. Coach, let's go over to some stats this year of your team, and you're led in scoring, of course, by your son, William Deuce Benjamin, 26.5 a game. Isaiah Carr comes in at 18 points a game. He's got 10 points, 10 rebounds a game also. And then Caden Self, he's a senior, 10.5. We've got some video we're running. Look at this. These videos you sent me are amazing. They're amazing, these plays. And again, the stats speak for themselves. You mentioned how many points you're averaging a game. But a lot of these videos, with your son's ability to penetrate, he's also averaging 7 assists, your son. And look, there's another rim snapper right here. You've been able to break down a lot of defenses with him. And, of course, Isaiah Carr is a big guy at 7 feet. He's averaging 10 rebounds. Talk to us a little bit about the high-octane Las Cruces Bulldog offense.
Man, we just been fortunate to be able to just have success pushing the ball, but it's not, we've been executing too. As far as on the half court set, we've been able to be able to generate some points in transition. When you have a guard like Deuce, it's very difficult to guard him. He's been seeing a lot of double teams in district, trying to get the ball out of his hands, and then you have Isaiah Carr, who's, you have to pick your poison. And a lot of teams have been trying to stop him from getting dunks and been staying in between him and the basket a lot, which opens things up for some of our other guys, like David Cruz. I think David Cruz is averaging 10 points a game, and he's also shooting 40% from threes. And so it's just been the combination with Deuce being able to not only score but distribute. I believe he's leading 5A not only in scoring but in assists. And then he's been able to just make some phenomenal passes to Carr, who finishes. Like you're not going to see a big fella finish like him, man. It's been amazing to watch. Carr's had some games where he's had like 5, 6, 7 dunks in one game. And so a lot of teams in our district have been trying to prevent that. And so when you do that, you kind of now you leave Deuce in kind of space so he can kind of get to where he wants. So we've just been able to, been fortunate enough to have these two guys to be able to piece this thing together, right now with those two, Caden Self, Suge Valles. Abraham Mitchell has come off the bench, been doing a tremendous job along with Caden Self. We just been able to put this thing together, and we've been able to have some success.
Well, you mentioned Isaiah Clark. Now, talk about a big man. He's 7 feet, 6'11". You listen at 6'11", right?
Yeah,
Listen
you
at
can
six.
round it up. Go ahead and round it up, man. Just
He's
round it up.
7 feet. We'll call it 7 feet.
Yeah.
Now he can run the floor too, right?
Right. Runs
Okay,
like
run the
deer.
floor, block shots. So it helps, as you mentioned, to have a guard like Deuce Benjamin and so all those highlights we saw. He's got the ball handling ability, can shoot the three, and he can get to the rim. And then when the defense comes in and cheats off of him, as you mentioned, he averages 7.5 assists to lead 5A. It's very hard to stop a team like this. And you mentioned teams have tried different methods to. There's not a lot of 7-footers in the state, right? So and Isaiah Clark can run and he can block shots too. And so you mentioned Caden Self and all the other players that go around this mixture of a great team. And I'll tell you what, it's going to be hard to stop the Bulldogs down the stretch. And sometimes adversity needs to be thrown in there. You have that adversity out of the chute against Chapin. You win by 1. Now, sometimes you want a close game just to see how your team reacts. But the way Las Cruces is playing right now, Coach, they're blowing the doors off of everybody.
Right. But we got off court adversity, just trying to keep everybody focused, man. Like you don't have to have adversity on the court. We have we're talking about 17, 18-year-old boys. They're one of the better teams in the state, which is going to cause you're going to get a little bit more popular than you normally would be. We have a great film guy who puts all our little wins on the video. So now you get hyped up because you're on the video, which brings its own little flavor and gives everybody. Sometimes kids want to be more in the video than the work, So that's adversity right there. We have to deal with the work,
that's right, yeah.
And, for what it is, to allow you to have those videos. Don't nobody want to see no video of no team that's 0-22. So it takes, staying focused is very, very important. And so that's what that's what I've just been trying to pound into everybody. Like we can't be listening to what they say, and I always say that because they most of the time don't know what the hell they talking about. And this is hard. It's been hard to do what it is that we're doing and to keep it going. Not from the standpoint of the games, but just the standpoint of staying focused. We have to stay focused. And so there's your adversity right there. Mm-hmm. There's your adversity. Like I know the reality of beating, we scored 110 points against Gaston. That don't mean crap. That don't mean a damn thing. If we still, you're going to have kids getting highlights in that game. But then when you play a better team, or is, where you have to buckle down, D up, and get to what the real is, that's where we got to stay. We got to stay in the reality. So we've experienced adversity as far as being able to keep everybody focused, and the kids have been doing a great job of being receptive to that, as far as taking coaching, taking the reality of what it is, even though they don't want to hear it, and so we're hanging in there. We're hanging in there.
The message is always the same. And, you mentioned the other thing about adversity. And I think the other thing, too, is with the COVID, right? The COVID was adversity and the shutdowns and the starting and the stopping. We got about a minute here to wrap it up, Coach. And tell us, again, you've been in the championship, right in contention the last 2-3 years, and really since 2013. What's it going to take for the Bulldogs to bring home the blue trophy in 2022?
Man, it's going to take some luck. It's going to take some luck. It's going to take it's going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take doing things right. It's going to take doing things right. But the main thing is, we've been getting everybody's best game, just like Volcano, just like La Cueva, just like a Trisco, just like Hobbs, So it's going to take a lot, man. You need some luck to win this damn thing. And hopefully we can stay focused. Hopefully we can stay focused and put ourselves in a position to have an opportunity to win a blue trophy. That's all we want, is an opportunity, and regardless of the seedings, You know, we should get 2 home games. You know, so and then we got to go up. You know, we still got to go up to that pit. You know, northern teams ain't got to travel, baby. We got to go up to that pit.
That's right.
You know, and so you know, so it's going to be tough either way. It's going to be tough either way. You know, I honestly prefer if no one's in there. You know, but there's going to be people in there, so we're going to have to deal with that, and it's going to be tough. You know, it's always tough for Southern teams to go north and win a state championship. North ain't got to worry about that. They get to stay home and sleep in their beds and see their mamas and dadas and all that, have a good breakfast and all that good stuff. You know, we got to come up with an itinerary. So it's going to be tough, but I think we up for the task, and we're going to see what it do.
But you've had experience in that task, in winning that task, so the kids have responded. Coach William Benjamin, the Las Cruces Bulldogs, the undefeated Las Cruces Bulldogs, 22-0, district record of 8-0. Coach, it's always a pleasure. We got to get you back on and do the seating selection show. You know how much respect I got for you. Thanks so much for joining us.
Hey, Ed, thank you for having me. Go Aggies.
Had to just ding one more, didn't you? Had to just do it, didn't you?
I'm going to get you every time I can, baby. I'm going to get you every time I can. You take care.
All right, man. For producer Alden Iwani, I'm Ed Nunez. We'll see you next week on the Sports Desk.